The most effective job hunting strategy, if you design it the right way, should be as simple as possible. It must have some clearly defined components which are easy to understand and straightforward to implement. A good strategy should provide a secure foundation upon which to build your job hunting project. It needs to give you the confidence to perform at a high level when the pressure's on, because it confirms that you're doing the right thing at the right time. Those are the underlying principles that drive the entire Vocation Master Job Search program. In today's tutorial, I'll be introducing you to the key parts of my recommended strategy. These are the essential actions that will take you through the most important elements of a super effective, truly proactive job hunt, and everything you need to succeed is contained within this framework. Once you're familiar with this strategy, you'll be free to work your way around each part, adapting everything to suit your particular needs and working style. This is day 4 of the 40-day job search. Hello, I'm Neil Grant, the person behind the Vocation Master training program, and I help you do better work. If you're looking for an employed position with a private sector organisation, you've come to the right place, because I'm going to show you how to transform your professional future by taking complete control of your next job search. Everything you'll be learning in this tutorial series is taken from my complete Job Search Masterclass. You'll find syllabus and enrolment details for that at my website. You can also take advantage of my free Job Interview Secrets course. With that, you get 3 hours of information, advice and action plans that go directly to the heart of my job interview strategy. I used to charge $99 for this short course, but I'm now making it available to you without any charge whatsoever. This is to say thanks for showing interest in what I do. It's also an insight into how I work. So if you want to nail any kind of job interview, you can't afford to miss out on this unique material. Just go to vocationmaster.com for free and immediate access. Right, some blue sky thinking. Before I give you the details of my transformational job search strategy, I want us to spend a few minutes thinking about what an ideal job hunt might look like. This is where we cut loose, so I'd like you to join me as we imagine a perfect scenario without the constraints of what usually happens during a conventional job search. In this thought experiment, there are no limitations on what's possible, so let's go crazy and throw a few wacky job hunting ideas around and see where it leads us. Those are the rules of the game, so try to play along. Okay, you ready to begin? Alright, well, first of all, I think that most of us would welcome a job search that planted us directly in front of a new employer whose purpose and activities dovetailed with our career ambitions, practical needs and particular strengths. They'd operate by a set of principles that we were in full agreement with, matched our preferred working style and allowed us to do a job that was well paid, secure, fulfilling and exploited our highest level skill sets. Now, because this is a perfect job search scenario that we're thinking of, our route towards this exciting work opportunity wouldn't be compromised by the presence of any other job applicants. We'd find a way of becoming the only person who was in the frame for the job, the sole candidate being considered for employment. This might sound fanciful, but I did tell you that this activity featured some blue sky thinking, didn't I? Instead of having to trawl vacancy ads or job boards, submit application forms and produce CVs or resumes, we discover how to get plugged into a rich seam of contacts who'd help us along the way. Inside contacts would be the order of the day, as we engineered personal introductions to influencers and named decision makers. We junk resumes, CVs and other application paraphernalia, the usual sort of arm's length processes and documents that we'd happily see the back of. Our contacts would guide us through the intricacies of the organisation we wanted to join, give us knowledge about what's going on inside the company and advocate on our behalf. They'd lead us directly towards power players who had the authority to hire us immediately. And this being a perfect job search, we'd use privileged information and inside knowledge of the organisation we wanted to join to build a compelling pitch that proved we were the best person to handle the work challenges that our skills were best suited to. Because we were so well prepared, we'd have the confidence to take control of the interview in a way that demonstrated the kind of skills and attitudes that are most highly rated by almost every reputable employer. Our presentation would be so effective that we tipped the balance of power decidedly in our favour, and that would let us choose whether or not we'd permit this organisation to become our new employer. Crucially, we'd be in control of every key part of the process. Now, how does all that sound to you? A perfect job search, perhaps, or a flight of wild imagination that would be impossible to enact in the real world? Well, I'm pleased to tell you that what I've just described is a summary of my transformational job search strategy, which is eminently achievable if you decide to implement it in its entirety. There are 3 key stages that you need to get to grips with, so let me explain what each of them involves. The first is to locate lucrative work opportunities before anyone else discovers them. Once you've done this, you then position yourself as the best and, in fact, the only candidate for the position you want. The benefit of doing this should be obvious, but the trick is in understanding how to do it properly. In essence, you conduct a bespoke research campaign from the ground up, one that aims to identify the perfect job opportunity for you individually. This research matches your highest level skills with an organisation that faces a significant challenge that you can legitimately help to solve. This is what elite job searchers do. It's the approach that I've used to win every single work contract I've pitched for myself personally and for the team of people who work for me in my training company. And this goes back over the last 30 years or so. It's precisely what I train every job hunter to do as part of my Vocation Master Programme. And I can tell you that it works beautifully. I don't have the time or space to explain the specific procedures here in a short tutorial series, I'm afraid. This forms a substantial part of my job search masterclass, so you'll have to investigate that if you want to learn the ins and outs of locating potential employers which match specific criteria you set. Although a later tutorial introduces this topic. The second stage is to maneuver yourself into the orbit of well-connected people, both inside and outside the organisation that you'd like to work for. In other words, you make contact with current employees who can help and inform you in various ways, and with ex-employees or other stakeholders who have good inside knowledge of what's going on within the company they used to work for or deal with. This is a strategy that top people use for several reasons. Inside and outside contacts can provide gold standard knowledge that will help you decide whether it's worth your while making an approach for an employed position with a specific organisation. Positive information will encourage you, whereas bad information might make you think again about a particular opportunity. Useful contacts will also facilitate further contacts if you play your cards right, and eventually lead you to the person who has the authority to hire you. The trick is knowing how to use this technique properly. Again, it's one that I've used countless times myself, and it's a strategy that I teach every one of my course participants to use. Learn the skill of engineering contacts and you'll slice through recruitment resistance like a hot knife through butter. The third part of my job search strategy is to take control of the interview and to then do the job right there in front of the person who has the power to hire you. This is no standard job interview that I teach you, I can assure you. It's very far from the sort of adversarial meeting with all of the attendant problems that you usually get. Instead, it features a carefully designed pitch that puts your research, knowledge and skills into full and exceedingly powerful effect. You're in charge of everything that happens in key hiring meetings that determine your future with an organisation you really want to join. You're in control of the format, content and manner of delivery during any employment encounter. There's rarely any rejection from the interviewer because ultimately you're the person who decides whether or not to allow a company to become your new employer. You can learn more about how this works in my full job search masterclass and in my free Job Interview Secrets short course. Now, these three stages of my job search strategy describe precisely what elite work changers do. They might adapt and mould their actions to suit their particular needs and the requirements of the specific job search they're conducting. But make no mistake, this is the template they use, and it's the one you should replicate if you want to give yourself the best possible chance of joining this elite group of workers. The rest of this series, during the remaining 36 job search tutorials, which are coming along over the next 9 weeks, explains exactly what you need to do in each stage. Now, before I go, a quick shout out for tomorrow's material when I begin to talk about the problems with doing work that isn't right for you. I'll start by thinking about the problem of workplace disengagement, something that affects more than 8 in 10 employed workers, so make sure you don't miss the next tutorial. It goes directly to the heart of nearly every type of work-related stress and anxiety difficulty, and often creates the trigger for looking for a better job. If you prefer to listen to training materials rather than watching or reading them, all of these job search tutorials are available in audio format. Search Job Search Masterclass wherever you get your podcasts and via my Vocation Master website, of course. And finally, If you enjoyed this video, I really would appreciate you liking, subscribing and sharing.